This
where we
conference will
use
now be recorded.
that is where we use robotic process automation. So all this can be done using regular test automation tools, but regular test automation tools we may need some coding, but robotic process automation we need not to do any coding. We can use the process model. So that means without knowing the coding, just there will be like activities. You can pull the activities and you can build your steps. Whatever you want to achieve through coding, the same thing you can achieve through visual representation. That visual representation can be in the form of flowchart, or it can be in the form of state machine, or it can be in the form of sequence, one by one steps. So that anyway, those called workflows that we'll be studying in detail in the course. The general overview of RPA is the automating the business workflows, so that's where we use robotic process automation tools.
Is it like
So
UPP?
yes, go ahead, Krishna.
Uh, it sounds similar to QTP. Is there any similarity to that?
Yes, so the QTP comes in the classification of test automation tool, where we will use the QTP to interact with the applications. Same kind of the UiPath is also same kind, but that is QTP is a test automation tool. UiPath is robotic process automation tool. In QTP, you may need to know the coding some extent, but in robotic process automation you need not to know any coding, so or everything is inbuilt. Only thing is we need to drag and drop the activities and we can build our solution more effective than QTP. Even in QTP, some objects may not be identifying, you may not be able to connect to remote machine easily. So those are all drawbacks in test automation tool. Whereas the robotic process automation tool, easily you can connect to the remote machine and you can automate the business workflows. So that is the main advantage of RPA tools. So because the RPA tools is having the AI capabilities, artificial intelligence capabilities inbuilt in the RPA tools. So that's where you will be able to do easy automation than QTP and all. In QTP, we don't have any AI capabilities inbuilt. So those are all called like old test automation tools nowadays. Even the robotic process automation using UiPath RPA tool, also we can do the whatever we were achieving through QTP, we can achieve through UiPath as well. Apart from that, we can use it for business process automation. It is mainly meant for business process automation, but nowadays they include quality assurance automation also we can do using UiPath. For both, we can use UiPath. So especially as you said, like business analyst and all, it is a very good career for them as well. So because even the business analyst also can develop the business workflows wherever whenever it is required. So it is very suitable tool, RPA. So in RPA, we have like different tools started from like UiPath, and then Automation Anywhere, and then Blue Prism. Of all these three major RPA tools, UiPath plays important role than other two tools, because UiPath anybody can learn by installing the community edition, that is full free. So that is the main advantage it has, and also compared to other two tools, the developing the business process is very effective and easy in UiPath. So and also it has the rich functionality than other two tools. So that's where UiPath is popular in the market than other automation tools. So now what we are going to do, like so yeah, before going to the definitions and all that, let's see the actual difference between test automation and the robotic process automation. Whatever I told that uh, about QTP and UiPath, the same thing goes here. Test automation means you will be there also, you will do the automation, but you will be doing that automation to validate your functionality. So maybe as you are in the business analyst field, you may be knowing like developers, if when they are in agile development model, the user stories will be created for each requirement, and the development team develops the code, and testing team will be testing that code whether works fine or not. First they will do the manual testing, and then they will do the automation. For that they will use some tools like QTP, RunnerX, those kind of test automation tools, and they will achieve automating that functionality, right? So this is typical test automation. So this test automation we use to validate the product quality, whereas robotic process automation, it is used in the real time scenario. So maybe in the production scenario itself it is used. The best example is, for example, the manufacturing companies. In the manufacturing companies, whenever they dispatch the goods to their customers, the finished goods, when they dispatch to their customers, they will have to raise the invoice. So that invoice will have all the information, like what product they are sending, how much quantity they are sending, how much what is the unit price of each quantity, and then the amount calculation, and then tax calculation on that, and then total invoice amount, and then to address to whom they are sending. Everything will be mentioned in the invoice. That is the real time. So they will have to generate the invoice, and then they have to send this in paper copy along with the like transportation copy, and the multiple copies they will have, customer copy, like that. So this process manually, if you want to do this, you what will be doing, there will be a computer programmer. He has to log into that some application. Maybe the company may be using any ERP application like SAP, or some other inbuilt application, I mean in-house application they may use. So the computer programmer or developer, right, they have to log into the system, and they have to open that SAP application, and then they have to navigate to the particular module, and they will open the screen, invoice screen, and then they will feed the data, what information we need to feed in that invoice screen. Everything they will do it manually, and then they will print the invoice. So when they put the information in that screen and submit, it will generate the invoice, right? So like this, manually they need to do this. So this is the manual process. Exactly, to replace this we use the RPA automation tool. So when we do this using UiPath, the completely the manual task need not to be done. The computer programmer need not to start the system, even need not to open the SAP application. All these process, all these steps can be automated using UiPath. So that's where the UiPath is meant for the real time. It is the automation we develop. It is used in the real time. So that is where we use robotic process automation. So what we need to do for automating these steps, we have to use like a UiPath. We have to use automation tool. Using that, we have to develop the business steps. Whatever the computer programmer does manually, like we do it step by step through automation. Once the automation is developed, that is called a bot, right? That bot can be run at any time, so that it will do all the steps automatically. So that is where the robotic process comes into picture. so that using RPA, we are not going to develop the application, whereas the application is already there. The application is like SAP or any other in-house application may be there. The working on that application, like navigate to the particular screen, feed the data, print the invoice, like all these functions, that's where we use the robotic process automation. So that we need to be very clear. So it's not developing the application using RPA, it is about automating the steps in the applications. So that is called like business flows. Business flows we will automate. So uh, that's the reason we say this, instead of manually doing, we are going to do it through robotic process automation tools, UiPath. So now I think you will be clear what is test automation and what is robotic process automation. So this robotic process automation is meant for is meant like any people can use this. It's not only the developer or test automation engineer need to use this. It is meant for anybody, uh, like business analyst, managers, if they want to see what is going on, is the process development is over, even they can easily open and they can see the visual representation and how the flow goes. Easily they can understand. Even if they want to do it also, they can do it easily. So that is the main purpose of robotic process automation. So now we will see the definition. So already we have discussed everything. Like so, due to that, the benefits what we will get using robotic process automation means it is mainly the cost and the time. These are all the benefit, because um, the manual if it is a different business process, like different people needs to log in and needs to do their work manually. If we automate that, obviously we will replace the manual people, the people doing manually that process completely, we can do it through automation. Due to that, we reduce, if multiple people working on the same task, we can do it through bots easily, so that we will reduce the cost actually. That is main benefit. And then the time, so it can be scheduled also at any time over the night also, we can do that using automation. So but for that manually we cannot do it, right? So that the time is the benefit. So like this, time and cost is the main benefit, and the accuracy, all these are the main benefit of RPA, using RPA actually. So now we will see the definitions, so that you will be more clear about robotic process automation overview. So let's go through this slide. So by definition, if you want to say robotic process automation, this is the thing. RPA,
Rama, are you sharing your screen? I cannot see your screen.
uh, yes, Krishna, 1 minute, let me share. Yeah, is it visible now?
No, yeah, now I can see it. Yeah.
Okay, fine. So by definition, we can say RPA is a configurable software tool. So we know we don't need to do coding. That's why we are configuring, right? Whatever we want to do, just we can pull the activities and we can configure the relevant properties. Whatever we want to do, that just we can configure, so that we need not to do any coding. So that much easy. So RPA is a configurable software tool that uses business rules. So we mainly use this RPA tool for automating the business rules. So each and every business having its own rules, right? If we, for example, as I said, that invoice generation also, it has so many rules, right? This is the sales tax percentage needs to be calculated. This is the amount needs to be calculated. Amount will be multiply amount we can get the amount by multiplying quantity into unit price. So like this, so many business rules. Automating these business rules is basically the robotic process automation. So that is mainly used for automating business rules. And the sequence of actions. Sequence of actions means the steps, like the step by step we build the workflow using various commands. Here the commands is called activities in UiPath. So we will pull the sequence of activities and we will build the solution. So that is basically the how to use sequence of commands or actions. Once we develop the business flow, I mean, once we develop the bots, we can run it automatically. So that's what we, here we say automatically complete processes. So we can schedule it also to run automatically, the entire bot in any number of different applications. In any number of different applications means, as I said, the SAP might have developed using some technologies. Suppose if the company uses in-house application, that in-house application might have developed using different technologies like .NET or Java. So the applications might have developed in any technologies, even though we will be able to automate using UiPath. So that's what here we say, the different applications we can automate using UiPath. And the exception management. Exception management means like during the running, during we execute the automation process, if any exception happens, how we can handle that exception. All that we can be we can define during the development itself. During development of the bot itself, we can define all the exception management categories. So by combining all these steps, we can say RPA is a configurable software tool that uses business rules and sequence of actions to automatically complete processes in any number of different applications, the same way a human would with the help of people for exception management. So that's where the RPA definition is. So and as we discussed earlier, it's not at all about physical robot. It is all about software robot that we develop actually using RPA tool. So if you develop one process, if you automate one process, that is called a bot. That is called a robotic process automation. And what is the main benefit, main purpose of this robotic process automation? The first line itself. RPA is a software-based robotics that emulates work that people do. The example I said, the computer programmer logs into the laptop and navigates to open the SAP application, navigates to the particular invoice screen. All that manual work, but using this robotics we can emulate that manual work and then we can automate. So that's the definition of robotic process automation. It is mainly used to emulate the work what people do manually. So that is the purpose of robotic process automation. So any questions, Krishna, till now?
Um, no questions, but so that
Okay.
this RPA process can interact with any kind of applications, right?
Yes, it can be automate. It can automate any kind of applications that we are going to see different technologies and all in the next slide.
Also, it can it run on any other platforms like Windows, Mac,
Yes.
Linux, and
Yeah, yes. Right now, it is the support. It supports the Windows actually.
mhm.
Going forward, I think all that it will be supported.
Oh, okay.
So, when we say configurable software, it is the out-of-the-box software that comes with free built-in functionality. As I said, in UiPath, we have everything in the form of activities. That activities are inbuilt. The code everything is inbuilt code is there. We need not to write any code. So that's where we say that as the inbuilt built-in functionality. Only thing is we need to drag and drop and build our workflow. So that is what configurable software is. Out of the box software that comes with built-in functionality. So UiPath obviously that has UiPath has 400 plus activities for different purposes. So based on our requirement, we can pull the activities and we can build our solution. As I said, the business rules. We are going to automate the business rules in each and every uh, functionality. Sequence of actions, the steps basically, how we can pull the different activities and one by one and we can build the solution, that is sequence of actions. And what kind of process, because some applications may be a complex one, some application may be simple application. So using UiPath, we can target simple to complex. Any complex process also we can automate. So we have the different kinds of workflows. Using that, we will be able to achieve simple workflow automation also and complex workflow automation also. We will be able to achieve. For example, creating and updating reports, managing work absences, balancing erroneous invoices. These are all the complex tasks. But creating and updating reports is maybe simple, but managing work absences and balancing erroneous invoices and all, it's a complex, but still we'll be able to automate using UiPath. Automatic in the sense just scheduling the bot to run automatically. So that's where automatic we say. Different applications means, as I said, the applications which are developed using different technologies, that is called different applications, still will be able to automate. UiPath supports all kinds of technologies so that we can automate it. So who can learn this course? It is who I just gave few points, but anyone who is interested to get into RPA automation, they can learn this course. Example, I had given the executives, operational leadership, delivery, information technology, information security, HR field, risk office, everywhere they can make use of UiPath to automate their business processes. And this course is mainly we talked about the benefits of RPA, and we will study in detail how we can develop this solution, how we can make use of different activities, and how we can make the well-designed RPA solution. Uh, and we will learn the best practice. So all the best practice we will learn in the course, and we will do some real-time example automating the applications. So we will have some real-time examples, real-time automation we will do for Windows-based applications and web-based applications, Citrix-based applications. All that we will have the real-time examples so that you will be very confident and you will be individually able to develop based on your requirement. The same slide actually. The technologies what I talked is we can do desktop automation means the application will be installed on any particular machine, maybe in your laptop. Whenever you want to automate your application, you need to open that application and then we need to navigate to that screen and we can do it. Desktop automation means we need not to have any browser. It's not web server related stuff. Whenever we say web automation, then it will be working on the web server, right? The application hosted on the web server, we can use any URL. Using that URL and the browser, we can automate, that is web application. So we will do this desktop automation and web automation, GUI automation, screen scraping, Citrix automation, everything we will do in our course with real-time examples. Apart from that, this UiPath supports mainframe automation, So mainframe application also we can automate. SAP automation we can do. SAP HANA migration we can do. Excel automation, macro recorder. Pretty much it supports all the latest technologies. And the web service automation. So we have something called web services, that is API based automation. So it supports SOAP API and REST API. Both it supports. We will do this as well in our course. How, if any SOAP service is given to you, how you can automate it. If any REST service is given to you, how you can automate it. Both we will study in this course as well. So pretty much RPA supports the latest, all the latest technologies. So UiPath also supports that. So till now we have seen the general overview of the RPA. What is RPA and the benefits of RPA, and what is the difference between test automation and RPA automation, and we have seen some few examples and the invoice generation, all that. So with that, the overview of RPA completes. So the next one, what we are going to see is in our course, we will start with UiPath introduction. So that comes the next slide. Hereafter, we will in-depth study about UiPath component, UiPath itself. So there are, as I said, there are market leaders in RPA. Of all market leaders, like compared to Automation Anywhere, Blue Prism, and UiPath is the number one market leader. So the UiPath product, UiPath Studio, we will study in depth about UiPath Studio, where we will start with UiPath introduction and UiPath architecture, and then we will study in and around all the topics we will cover, so that after completing this course, if you want to give any certification, associate level certification and advanced level certification, both you will be able to give. So it covers that advanced level syllabus actually. So let me now go through the content, course content. Any questions, Krishna, till now?
No questions. Just wanted to ask, what's the duration of the course?
Yeah, duration of the course is 1 month. Per day, 1 hour actually.
Okay.
So we will cover weekly 5 days, weekdays, or we can like according to your convenient and my convenient. That we can, we don't have any problem. Like we target weekly 5 days. So the
I
course,
was sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, yeah. Go ahead, Krishna. You were saying something.
No, I was going to say that I would also need some help with resume preparation and also mock interviews so that I can prepare myself for the interviews. So I would need help with that as well.
Okay, okay. Yeah, that can be done. No, that's not an issue. After course completion, in after course is completed, I will give you like we will prepare your resume according to your current experience. Everything we will analyze and we will prepare. We will change that current resume, saying like you have some experience in UiPath, like that. We will prepare the resume.
Okay.
uh, we can do it. Not an issue. Anyway, I think you have very good experience in business analytics and all, right? So based
Yeah.
on that, we will prepare one RPA resume, and then you can use that. That's not an issue. That's not
Okay.
a problem. We will do it. And mock interview. Suppose if you are going to appear for a exam, then we will discuss some. I will share with you some interview questions. I mean. The exam related questions and all, that also we will go through it.
Yeah, also, yeah, because as I was saying that I have a reference, but I might have
Okay.
to attend the interview myself.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, like real time scenarios, uh, with basic
Yes.
questions and that kind of stuff. You have to prep me on that as well.
Okay, sure, sure. Everything we will discuss. During
Okay.
the course itself, we will be discussing everything. Apart from that, like before, like interview also, we will have a discussion, and I will tell you like how, what kind of questions they may ask when you go for interview. Like before 2 days or whatever, we will connect and we will discuss. I will guide you there as well. That's not an issue.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Okay, so this is our course content. So already we discussed about introduction of RPA and UiPath anyway we will discuss.
Mhm.
Uh, this is about introduction of RPA we did now, and then I will share with you some use cases. These use cases you need not to go through now. After the course is completed, you can go through these use cases so that you will come to know how a company takes UiPath project for that company. So suppose how the management team picks the RPA automation project. So it gives you multiple examples. The like Hexaware company, Hexaware in Bangalore, how they took the RPA project for their to develop. Like we have some other examples also. All that after completing the course you can go through it, so that will give you the broader level of RPA market and the use cases also. So that is the one I will share with you those PPT, and then the our actual course will start from here. Already we started. I mean the RPA introduction is done. Then we will start with the UiPath introduction. So in UiPath introduction, as I said, we will see what are the different components available and what is the architecture and how it works. We will see. And then the benefits already we discussed about the benefits we will discuss of UiPath, and then installation, community edition, how we can install in your laptop. We will install it in your laptop, and then you can use it. You can use the community edition for developing your workflows, and then we will study about the UiPath workflows itself. As I said, if you want to achieve the complex business process automation and everything, you will have to use different workflows like sequence workflow we have, flowchart workflow we have, state machine workflow we have. You can use either of these or mixed of these. There is no limitations. We will study in detail about these workflow types with examples we will study, so that you will come to know clearly when to use which workflow and all. You will come to know clearly. These are all the actual course content. And then the sales invoice automation. I was saying one example, sale invoice generation, right? Using that, we will generate that invoice, we will calculate that invoice generation. You, when we do that, you will study about variables, data types, work control flow and arrays. It is mainly our objective is study about variables, data types, control flow, arrays, but we are going to study this using this example, invoice generation example. So we will generate the sales, we will prepare the sales invoice where we will study about these clearly: variables, data types, control flow and arrays. Then you will not forget. So with real-time example, we will start with these topics. And then the data flow, how happens between one workflow to another workflow, that is covered in the course content. That we will do it using arguments. And then data manipulation concepts. Suppose it's all about the data, right? When you want to automate, obviously you will be interacting with multiple sets of data, and how you can deal with that data and how you can bring that data to the workflow. All that we will study in using data manipulation concepts, where we will be using string functions related to .NET string functions, and then format value activity, directory class, list, dictionary. These are all the typical course content. We will study in detail about these things. And then working with Excel automation and data table. So when you want to um, deal with the data from Excel sheet, how to do that with the examples of with real-time example. We will do this. We have something called data table, how to use that. All that we will study in these topics, and then automating the web application. So when we complete till here, the whatever necessary for developing the automation, for whatever necessary to develop to automate any web application, you will have that full knowledge. Here we are going to apply these techniques, and we are going to automate some real-time web application. So where we will do the end-to-end automation, we will use all these concepts, and we will develop uh, we will automate one web application, and then we will automate one desktop application, and then we will do the statics based application. The same application will be installed in remote machine, maybe a VM, and then using your from your laptop, you will be automating the application hosted on the remote server. uh, that all about automating statics based application, that we will do it. And then automating images. Suppose if you have it, that is called image automation. So if you have some text on the image, maybe PDF file or any JPG file, how we can extract the data from those images, all that we will study. And we have a topic called selectors and UI Explorer. These selectors and UI Explorer is part of this and this. So this is the core actually. Without this selector, we cannot develop our web application. We cannot automate the web application. Without these selectors and UI Explorer, we cannot automate desktop application. Because when you study this, we will actually study about these things, this topic as well. So in detail, we will study all these topics. And then UI interactions. So these UI interactions and all, when you develop web application and desktop application, these are the some techniques we have to use. Suppose if you want to see your mouse movement, and sometimes you don't want to see this mouse movement going and clicking on a button and all, if you don't want to see, how we can do that? All that comes under UI interactions, that we will study in detail. And then PDF automation. PDF automation is basically how to read the data from the PDF document and how to manipulate it. That is about PDF automation. We will study that. Once if we complete all this, pretty much we will be covering most of the syllabuses. Then we will start with the orchestrator training. Orchestrator training means whatever you develop the bots till here, we will be deploying this to the orchestrator. Yeah, another component in UiPath, where we can deploy our bots, and we can schedule it, and we can maintain our bots in the orchestrator tool. Yeah, so this is orchestrator is basically a web-based portal where we can deploy our bots, and we can manage our bots. We will not develop there, but we will maintain our bots. If 100 developers developing their process, if everyone keeps in their local, then there is no use, right? So they will package it, and they will deploy into the orchestrator portal. So this is mainly used for management and maintenance purpose. So we will study in depth about how to deploy a bot to orchestrator, and how we can schedule it, and what are the different global variables we can use. All that we will study here. So there is something called global variables, assets, and then deploying bots to the orchestrator configuration. Everything we will study in the orchestrator training. And we will the queues also comes in the orchestrator itself. We will study a separate topic on this. So we will do some real-time automation, web automation using orchestrator. There also we will study about queues actually. Queues is basically if you are going to interact with huge amount of data, directly you need not to get that from the each and every time you need not to get from the Excel sheet. What you can do is at one time you can dump all the you can read all the data from the Excel sheet and you can put it in the queue. From the queue you can take it one by one, so that different statuses will be maintained. Like initially when you dump the data in the queue, it will be in the new status, and then when you process that particular transaction, then it will be the status will be completed, the remaining new state will be there. Suppose if you stop your bot also, then next time when you start, it will take the remaining queue items. So those kind of things we will be doing in our training as well. So that's where we will end up studying about queue management, how can be done in UiPath. All that we will study. And then UiPath web service. I mean SOAP web service. You might have heard about web services. Web services don't need any UI application, right? That will be working based on the endpoints, right? Directly you can send the request to the web service, and web service will return the response. That response you will get it, and you will pass that response, and you will be achieving that automation. So there are two kinds of web service. One is SOAP web service and REST web service. REST is the architecture and SOAP is the protocol. So using these, yeah, if you have any SOAP web service, you can test that using UiPath. If you have any REST web service, you can test using UiPath. Both we will do it using some examples. And then database automation. Database automation means like through UiPath, how you can connect to the SQL server and how you can query the data from the SQL tables. All that we will study in depth in database automation. And then we have something called RE framework, Robotic Enterprise Framework. So this we will study about this framework. So if you get into any RPA based work, so you need to know this RE framework, how you can effectively use this framework, and how easily you can start with your automation. So everything till here, we are we will be studying the core UiPath topics and everything. Here there is a separate framework itself UiPath provides. If you want to start with any application automation, you need not to develop any framework. You can make use of this framework. But in this framework, you will be applying all these concepts. So that this is the ready-made framework we can use. But though you study everything, if you don't study this RE framework, the company will ask, do you know RE framework in UiPath? So you need to know how you can develop your automation using RE framework. This also will be we will be doing with real-time example. So we will be studying in depth about RE framework. And then we'll do some project. As I said, we will do one ERP automation, and we will do one I mean desktop automation and web automation. So we will take some real-time example called uh, this application, inflow inventory application we have, that we will download and install in your laptop, and we will automate it. And then we have something called leads capture process, that is ERP web application. There we will do this automation. We will automate the leads capture module, so that you will be very independently, you will be like end to end automation you will develop for these two modules, so that you will be very clear, and you will be remembering what are all the concepts you have studied. Everything you can apply, and you can develop these modules. So in our course itself we will be doing it. Just you can do it yourself also. The same thing you can replicate, or you can do it for the different applications also. That's not a problem. And then computer vision. Computer vision is all about in whenever we study image automation, those concepts, along with that we will study about computer vision. It is all about how efficiently we can identify the objects. So in image automation also there are some drawbacks. If you change the position of the object, it will fail. But to overcome that issue, we will use computer vision techniques. So that we will study. When we study about image automation itself, we will study about computer vision as well. And then regular expression. Regular expression is related to some filtering the input based on your validation. We will mainly use this for validation purpose. Suppose when you get the input, you want to get only the numeric, or you want to get only special characters, or you want to get only alphabet. So those kind of validations we can do using regular expressions that we'll study. And then exception handling and debugging. So during the bot development, you may come across some exceptions and all. So suppose you are trying to interact with a file, but that file is itself not present in the particular path. So that is exception. That exception needs to be handled. So if you don't handle that exception during the runtime, your bot will fail. So that means the failure happens. That should not happen during the runtime, right? That is the reason wherever the exception needs to be handled, we will handle it. That we will study in this chapter. uh, and debugging. So debugging is basically if you feel like, for example, you are running your automation and automation stops without any reasons. What you how you will find out that you will have to do the debugging. So this exception handling and debugging, we will do it throughout the course, so that throughout the course you will develop various workflows we will automate. That time itself I will be explaining, each and every time I will be explaining how to do the debugging, so that will be covered in the above topics itself. This will be covered. Finally, what we will do, we will see about how to use Git in UiPath. So Git is basically like it's called version control system. You might have heard about any in agile methodology, like the developers maintains their code in Git. Like that, in UiPath automation also, we will develop our bot and we will keep our code, our flow, our solution in the Git actually. So if there are 100 developers working, UiPath developers working, they have to keep their solution in the one centralized place that is called GitHub. That we will study how we can get to the latest from the Git, and how we can clone the local copy, and how we can work. Once our work is done, how we can store it back into Git, so that next developer comes, they will get the our work, whatever we have committed, they will get our work also. They will get the latest to their local, and once their work is completed, they will commit their changes to the Git. So like that it happens. So the Git maintains the versions of each and every file, so that whenever a new developer comes, they will directly clone this Git repository and they can start their working. So all that we will, that Git integration with the UiPath, how we can do, we will do the real time example. We will study with real time examples. Then we will be, by completing this course, like you will be like you will be able to give interviews, and you will be able to give your UiPath exams. So it covers advanced syllabus actually. So associate level and advanced level, both certifications you can give when you complete this course. So these are all the course content. It will be covered as part of the this course actually. So we target to complete in 30 days. So each day 1 hour, we can will be able to complete in 30 days.
Okay.
So
Will it be available after the course completion if I have any doubts or something?
yes, yes. After the course completion, just suppose if you have some interviews, just let me know. We can connect, and I can give you some overview how the interview questions will be, And
Okay.
if you have some doubts, just to ping me. I can reply to that. That can be done. That's not an issue.
Okay.
Okay, Krishna.
Yeah.
So with this, we will close our demo today, and
Okay.
just the timing. You can
I'll have it of timings, Rama. Don't worry.
yeah, yeah. The timings
So,
you can
I'll
check
take
with
feedback of Krishna. Then I'll
yeah.
have a talk to him. And what time feasible, then we can start as early as possible. Okay.
Sure, sure. So we can start as early as possible. Not a problem.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Krishna, this, everything will be real time. Nothing to worry about this. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. Okay. And every day, the recording and related to the materials and everything, you'll get it. And the only thing is you have to put 1 or 2 hours on this and where you have to work on daily basis.
Sure.
okay,
Okay.
I will show you one more thing also. How I will share the recording and everything. So basically, you in Google Drive, I will copy everything on daily basis. You can get it
Okay.
from there. I will share that path. Let me show an example. So I will give you the Google Drive access. In the Google Drive, on your name, I will create a folder like this. The examples for different students, I have done this. For UiPath, I will take one example, UiPath course. So I will create a folder like this, and then within this folder, I will copy the documents under PPT folder, like all the documents and course content, everything I will copy. Whatever we have, the class notes, everything I will copy here on daily basis. You can take it and then processes. During this course, what and all the process we work, everything I will zip it and put it into this folder. You can uh, take to your local drive and then recordings. The recordings from day one, we will upload all the recordings. So for one of the student, for one of the batch, like we have completed these many recordings. This is some exceptional case. We won't need these many days, but we will complete in 30 days actually. So all these will be available. So like I will share this entire folder and you can take it. So this folder means not this folder. We will create in your name. We will create one folder and on daily basis we will upload all the course content. I mean all the artifacts. You can take it to your local. So this is how you can take all the letters, all the recordings. Okay, I think done. We are done today's demo.
So,
Whenever you want to.
Rama, so what I do, I'll take feedback from Krishna and I'll let you know the timings and everything. Okay.
Yeah, sure, copy. Not an issue.
So, next session people are waiting, I guess. Okay. Thanks for your time, Rama. So
Yeah,
let's go
sure.
ahead.
Thanks,
Thank you very
copy.
much.
Thanks. Yeah, we'll
Thanks.
close. Thanks.
Krishna, I'll call you. Just flip the call, okay? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Sure,
Sure.
sure. Okay.
Bye.